Okay, very fine. We were moving on with the topic of the constitutional design. In this constitutional design, the path of making the constitution, which was the body who played a leading role in drafting the Constitution of India. When was the Constitution of India adopted? When did it come into force? Under what circumstance India sat down and prepared the Constitution? Quite now. Now moving on to the most important thing, the salient features of the Constitution of India. The main thing which is there written, which deals with the Constitution of India. So the very first one, if we talk about looking into the features of the Constitution, it is the Constitution of India is written and it is the lengthiest constitution. It is written in form and it is lengthiest. Just as compared to that of the Great Britain. In Britain you won't find a constitution. You'll just get a simple smile. If you go to a bookseller and ask for the Constitution of Britain, you'll just get a smile over there because nothing is written in Britain. But as compared to that of the Britain, in India we have got a written constitution. And it is one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. As with regard to the Philadelphia Convention in USA, when 1787, the American Constitution was drafted, comparing to the lengthiness, the length of the American Constitution, the Indian Constitution is vast as compared to that of the American Constitution also. We have got a written Constitution. The preamble of the Constitution, that is basically written. Each and every clause, the section, the article, everything is written. One cannot divert from that. One cannot deny that it is not written. Everything is admissible and it is written there in the Constitution. In Britain, the work goes on according to statutes and conventions and traditions. जो एक बन के पद्धति बन के चला आ रहा है, procedure. So one does not deviate from that. The nature of working, the nature of functioning of the government over there, that is based on the traditions and customs, statutes and conventions. तो उसी मैनर पे वो लोग अपना वर्क कर रहा है still today's date. It's a matter of great pride for Britain also, that nothing is written, but still the country is functioning. But we have got a written constitution. Our constitution is the world's longest constitution. Second, we have got a parliamentary form of a government. Indian constitution has a parliamentary form of a government. Basically, parliamentary form of government, if we talk, that has got some different sorts of a meaning. Working of the government, that is on the basis of two aspects. One is unitary government and another one is federal government. Federal government in which powers are divided to the subordinate level. In India, we see that we have got the nature of functioning of the government is not unitary is like, but it is federal in form. Federal in form, power gets divided according to the provinces and the union. And if we talk about something below that also, subordinate authority, और भी नीचे अगर हम जाते हैं, we find that we have got a local self-government which we call a rural self-government. We have got a three-tier system of a government, that is the union government, the state government, and the local self-government. The three type of a government machinery is there. Union government, that is the central government which is sitting there at Delhi. State government, every state in India has got one administering machinery who looks after the administration of the state. That is the state government. And at the grassroots level, at the rural area, we have got a panchayati based system. That is, we call it a rural self-government. So that is, when the powers are divided, then we talk on that basis. Unitary government, federal government, and local self-government. India is unitary in spirit but federal in form. Unitary in spirit, कभी कभी आप देखिएगा कि बिल्कुल यूनिटरी स्पिरिट दिखाई पड़ता है हमारे देश में, और यदा कदा हमेशा दिखता है कि वी आर फेडरल इन नेचर. हमारा एजुकेशन पद्धति, हमारा पुलिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, हमारे टैक्सेशन सिस्टम, हमारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का, वो यूनियन गवर्नमेंट से वेरी करता है. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट which works on that particular subject. School, police, agriculture, import, export, and something which is of national importance like finance, like defense, like tax, that is handled by the union government. That is handled by the union government. When there is a clash between the union and state government, when there is a clash between union and state government over any other issue, then the say, S-A-Y, then the say of union government will prevail. उस परिस्थिति में किसकी जयकार होगी? यूनियन गवर्नमेंट की. ठीक है. तो आप देखते हैं कि कभी कभी यूनिटरी स्पिरिट दिखाई पड़ता है, और अक्सर ऐसे तो हम स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के अंतर्गत हम लोग हैं. ठीक है. यूनिटरी स्पिरिट कब और दिखाई पड़ता है? जब उस राज्य का सरकार किसी कारण से could not complete the full tenure of 5 years. So at that time there will be president's rule in the country. And when the president's rule will be there in the country, who is the agent of the president over here in the state? The agent of the president is the governor. Governor is answerable. Governor shall look into all the affairs of the state at that time till the election has not taken place. I mean to say, when any type of a midterm election या by-election is going to take place, या when there is a presidential rule in the state. Everything is governed by the assent of the president of the country. That is a unitary spirit. But when the government or the state government is functioning, we are finding that we are under the channel of federal type of a nature of a government. Leave that. We are talking about the features of the constitution. The feature of the constitution talks, we have got a parliamentary form of a government. We were discussing that when the powers are divided, how the country is governed. In that circumstance, now coming into the topic of parliament, we saw that the powers get divided when the working machinery of a country takes place. That time we adopt this federal nature. Federalism is what? So federalism is division of power at the lower level or the subordinate units. What are the subordinate units? One is the union government, another one is the state government, and the third one is the rural self-government or the panchayati raj system. That is at the grassroots level. We are also telling that the feature of the constitution is that we have got a parliamentary form of a government. What is this parliamentary form of a government? The parliamentary form of a government is that whenever any sort of a general election takes place, that is the period of 5 years of a time. During that time, we choose our representative, whoever enters into this political arena. And in that political field, it is the political parties who play all sorts of game to motivate, to manipulate the minds of the voters such that they can get the power and they can rule the country. So it is the members of parliament whom we choose and we send them to the union government to form a government at the central level. To form the government at the central level. And that government which is being formed over there, those representatives are going to sit down over there in the Lok Sabha. And this body, the parliament, has three bodies, that is the office of the president, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. This comprises the parliament. We send our members to the Lok Sabha who are directly elected by the people. They are our direct representative. And this is the elderly house, Rajya Sabha. They are elected on the basis of their genuinity, on the basis of their scholarship, on the basis of their knowledge and so on. So they are indirectly elected by the people. Whenever any sort of a issue or a program or a bill or any sort of bringing about any change within the country or working of the administering work of the country is concerned, everything is taken down in the parliament. The head of the working machinery of the majority party in the parliament is the prime minister. The same prime minister is also chosen by the people. He is also the representative of any particular constituency. The maximum number of people who have won the election of a same party, they elect one of the leaders within themselves, and that leader is regarded to be the prime minister of the country. And his name is given to the president of India and he becomes the prime minister of the country. Any sort of a work, either promulgation of any program, bringing any amendment, bringing of any bill, bringing of any plans or so on, everything is going to be decided in the parliament over there, which comprises of all the members of the Lok Sabha, that is the maximum strength is 550. In this Lok Sabha there is opposition members also who have won the election but could not form the government. They will be sitting at the left side. That is the opposition members. And after great discussions, debates, deliberations, boycott and walkouts and so on, only then any matter is passed. Either it is a bill or any sort of a bill. So we say that we have got a parliamentary form of a government. We can also well say, when we were talking about the powers and functions of the prime minister of the country, we also talked about, if we look into the strength and the powers of the prime minister, it will not be very bad to say that we have got a prime ministerial form of a government also. शायद ये लाइन आप लोग कहीं पढ़े होंगे जरूर कि we have got a prime ministerial form of a government. Why? Because if the prime minister loses the confidence in the parliament, the government falls. Just like a pack of a bundle. So long as the prime minister enjoys the interest of the council of ministers, till then the prime minister shall have the say in the house. The moment prime minister loses the assent of the council of ministers, the parliament shall fall down. I mean to say, the government shall fall down. So in that sense, we can say that we have got a prime ministerial form of a government. But whereas with regard to the features of the constitution is concerned, we say that we have got a parliamentary based form of a government, where there are two houses, the discussions take place, any laws which are to be made, any program, issue, or any sort of a change or administering work of the country is concerned, everything takes place in the parliament. Any problem till here? No. The third thing which we can also talk is the most important one is the fundamental rights. Rights are the claims of a person which are sanctioned and recognized by the society. for the development of a personality of an individual, or such that a person shall feel free, a person shall not feel themselves to be infringed on any part, किसी भी तरह से वो अपने आप को बंधा बंधा सा महसूस न करे, तो the Indian Constitution has adopted the path of granting fundamental rights to the citizens of the country. The fundamental rights are 6 in form, 6 in number, and all such fundamental rights, you are knowing it that, and within that fundamental right, the most important one which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had stated, that right to constitutional remedy is one of the heart and soul of the Constitution. Because if all the 6 rights have been given, and if there is violation, if there is infringement of any of the rights which an individual has got, and if there is infringement, if there is any violation on the part of the government, or on the part of an individual, or on the part of the state government, किसी भी तरह से हस्तक्षेप हो जाता है आपके अधिकार पर, then in order to not to lose that, उस चीज को न हारते हुए, it is the well settled principle that the well settled principle is that the right has been given to us, the right has been given to us by the Constitution, that under that constitutional remedy you can knock the door of the judiciary to settle down your grievance. The grievances are there, and whatever be your grievance, by knocking the door of the judiciary आप अपने grievance को settle कर सकते हैं, and then the order shall be delivered by the court of the law, and which is that court of law? It is the High Court or the Supreme Court, where such type of matter will be entertained, not at the district level. So fundamental rights have been granted by the Constitution. Let me say that the part 3rd of the Indian Constitution provides fundamental rights, which develops the personality of an individual. The most important features of these rights is that these are justiciable in supreme. These are justiciable, and is whenever there is any sort of a violation, it shall be decided in the Supreme Court or the High Courts. If a person thinks that his rights have been infringed, he can go to that court to get his grievance settled. पार्ट 3rd हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का इन्हीं बातों का जिक्र करता है, मौलिक अधिकारों, talks about the fundamental rights, and these fundamental rights are what? These are the things which leads to the development of the personality of an individual, which makes the people to think that you are not suppressed, rather you are free. आप दबे हुए नहीं हैं, आप free हैं. किसी भी तरह का वायलेशन अगर होता है तो आपको यह अधिकार दिया गया है कि you can knock the door of the judiciary and settle down the grievance. The next one is directive principles of state policy. Another feature of constitution is what? हमारे संविधान में डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी भी वर्णित है. ये वर्णित क्या है? जो राज्य सरकार को निर्देशित करता है कि ए राज्य सरकार, आपके पास इतना इतना पावर है, यू शैल लुक इनटू द वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल. दैट इज द ड्यूटी गिवन टू द राज्य सरकार, आई मीन टू से द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. And the government will see to it that such type of provisions are implemented before the people. एक कल्याणकारी राज्य का हमेशा घोषणा होता है डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी के अंतर्गत. इसलिए आप यदा कदा हमेशा सुनते होंगे, every time you must be listening to some of the welfare schemes of the government. How? Why? Because the country has to function under the banner of this DPSP. And what does this DPSP say? DPSP says that the government shall work according to the welfare scheme. Whatever welfare schemes are there, हर एक गवर्नमेंट को उस चीज को अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा और लोगों के सामने उन तमाम चीजों को लाना पड़ेगा. directive principles of state policy, which every state government has to strictly obey that and work according to that. Let me read that. It is not part 3rd, it is part 4. Directive principle is part 4 of the Constitution. Fundamental right is part 3rd of the Constitution. Directive principles की जब भी हम बात करेंगे, you will find that it is written in the part 4 of the Constitution. What does it say? It provides for directive principles. This principle lay the foundation of socio-economic justice by promoting concentration of wealth by preventing concentration of wealth in a few heads and providing adequate means of livelihood to all. Welfare, Kalyankari Raj. The government shall see to it that under this provision, socio-economic disparities may not lie within the people. लोगों के बीच में सामाजिक और आर्थिक भेदभाव न रहे, इन तमाम चीजों को दूर करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट shall see to it that the concentration of wealth must not reside in few hands of the people. वो जो बड़े बड़े ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, बड़े बड़े पूंजीपति लोगों की बात अगर हम करते हैं, the government has to see that the concentration of wealth must not reside only in a few people. It must be deliberately within each and every people. So only at this evolving stage of democracy, we are seeing that we have not उस मुकाम तक नहीं पहुंच पाए हैं कि इकोनॉमिक डिस्पैरिटी को खत्म करना. Still we are seeing that Adani's, Ambani's, Birla's and Tata's and so on, many bureaucrats are there who have got lots and lots and lots of wealth in their hand. In spite, they are working in a proper channel. They are paying a revenue to the government. They are giving the tax to the government. Whatever there is in their hand, टैक्स को दे रहा है सरकार को. स्टिल उनके पास धन उतने हैं कि अभी भी वो डिस्पैरिटी खत्म नहीं हो. परंतु आपको यह हमेशा दिमाग में रखना है कि डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी, the aim of the government is to provide welfare to the people. The government has to see that the wealth does not concentrate only in a few people's hand. There must be economic distribution of wealth. There must be equal distribution of wealth. That is the most prime thing about the directive principles of the state policy. I don't think that it has been written in your copy, but it is also there. It's not written there, but you have to keep it in mind that the Constitution of India, the features, directive principles, fundamental rights, fundamental duties are also there in the Constitution of India. If the government is granting you the rights, the government is trying to get something from you also. See, this vice versa channel is going on. लेना देना, ला दा, हमेशा ला ला नहीं होगा, तब दो वाला भाग जाएगा. लो 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 कितना दिन चलेगा? डेली समोसा खिलाएगा एक आदमी, चौथा दिन आपका भी फर्ज बनता है समोसा खिलाने का. तो पांचवा दिन देखेगा वो तो अपने भाग जाएगा खिलाने वाला, डेली आ जाता है मांगने के. सो ल और द का प्रक्रिया साथ साथ होना चाहिए. If the government is giving us the fundamental rights, it is our duty also that for the country there should be some of the fundamental duties also, fundamental duties as well. So that is also one of the feature of the Constitution. Directive principles, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. We have got a parliamentary form of a government. We have got a written and one of the most lengthiest constitution in the world. Next, we have got a blend of federal and a unitary spirit. India is unitary in spirit, and federal in form, which I discussed when I was talking about the federation. जब हम फेडरेशन के बारे में बात कर रहे थे तो वहीं पर हम बात किए थे, कहीं कहीं पर यूनिटरी फीचर दिखाई पड़ता है, कहीं कहीं पर फेडरल फीचर दिखाई पड़ता है. This federal feature is what? That is the division of the power. Basically, in a federation, we have got two governments. The government at the union level and the government at the state level. One more we find, the another one, that is the government at the grassroots level, that is the local self-government. We'll discuss and we'll have something more tomorrow again. We are stopping here.